Did you know that the Panama Canal was almost built across a giant lake filled with volcanoes? This is a cool piece of history that might actually come back and get built someday. The early surveys to find a water route connecting the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans was obviously looking for the easiest path across the land. Shortest distance, lowest elevation. Panama is the obvious choice because of the narrow isthmus, but you would still have to dig into the mountains. And 2 countries to the north, there's a fascinating geologic option. Lake Nicaragua, a natural lake 100 feet above sea level that cuts the travel distance in half. The lake naturally drains to the east to the Caribbean Sea. You could theoretically sail ships up the river and into the lake. From there, it's a rather short distance to the Pacific, only about 10 or 12 miles as the crow flies. The engineering of this route would be not that different from what eventually got built in Panama. In both cases, you would have to dam up a river and build a series of locks. For a while, the US government actually preferred the Nicaraguan route because they were getting fed up dealing with the country of Colombia. After getting burned by the whole French construction, Bogota was not excited about extending the canal lease to the Americans. But the eventual deciding factor came down to these right here: volcanoes. This part of Central America is seismically active, and 2 beautiful cinder cones overlook the lake, right next to the corridor where ships would be traveling. Now, as best as I can tell, there's been no volcanic activity in this area for hundreds of years, and who knows if that actually would have been a deal breaker for a functioning canal. Around 1900, a group of French and American investors who were dead set on having the canal be built in Panama found a brilliant way to scare Congress away from Nicaragua. Specifically, this postage stamp right here, showing the lake, the railroad, and the volcano. But the artists included one little detail that kind of messed everything up. There's smoke coming out of the top of the volcano. Now again, no eruptions had happened in recent memory. This was strictly an artist's aesthetic choice. But Felipe Bernovaria had hundreds of these stamps sent to the House of Representatives, had them passed around as an exhibit showing proof that there were active volcanoes in the Nicaraguan canal zone. And that's all it took. This image of an erupting volcano is what convinced the US government to go to Panama instead.